Now then, MC4 connectors on solar panels, etc. We're talking DC, and although you can crimp the components of the connectors together, I always believe in crimping and then soldering, because the problem can be over time that you can build up resistance. Corrosion can get in there, or just expansion and contraction can loosen that crimp joint. So soldering's a lot better. So this is how I do it. Okay, these are the modern connections for solar panels. MC4, right, which stands for multiple connection 4 mil. Okay, so we've got a threaded end like that, and then a gripper and a seal. Okay, and then we've got two different sized fittings. Okay, one goes inside the other quite tight. Right, why is it called MC, multiple connection? Because this smaller one is actually slightly corrugated, so you've got high points and low points to get really tight connection. Okay, so this one, which would be the male one, has the larger connector in it. Yep. And of course the female one has the smaller connector, so it has a pin sticking in the middle. Okay, so MC4, how do you connect it? Well, here's some solar cable. It's 4 mil solar cable, so that's 4 mil conductor, and then it's double insulated. You see the white in the inside and the black on the outside, double insulated. And we will have, or we will at some point talk about the double insulation. Now, there is the crimp. Let's just see if I can zoom down just a bit more. Just remember which way it is. There we are. I've got my stage mark here. Okay, so we've got this grip here, or crimp, and the cable only goes in that far. You don't want the cable to go into this part at all. Or that's the way I work it. So we'll just and it takes a fair bit to work off that insulation, and then that goes in there. Now you can take it a bit further, but just here there's a slightly swollen area and it's got some barbs on it, so you'll see when we get to that why that's important. And it's important that when we solder this up, a lot of people just crimp it, but I prefer to solder it, that you don't get any solder around this area. So I've just extended that a little bit, so then this goes in there, and then you crimp this. Hopefully you're seeing this. Okay, and then you crimp it round some more. Right, a lot of people would say that's good enough, and they used to have the correct crimping tool, which put an extreme amount of pressure on this, but I prefer to solder them. Okay, so let's just put that on there to hold that in place. Yep. And here's the soldering iron, and this is cord solder. Just warm it up. We've got a fair bit to warm up here. There we go. That's enough. These barbs here are facing that way, so when you push this on, it goes so far and then locks in. Yeah, which is why you don't want to have any solder down here at all, because it gets in the way. That's not so bad. There we go. And click. And that will not come out then. Yeah. Then the seal goes in there and the threaded end goes on there, along with the cable grip. And then, if you can see, there is the connector right down in there. And of course we do the other one and that fits in there like that. Okay. Okay. Cut this back to about there. There we go. Then that goes on there, and that the rubber seal goes that way. Not the easiest thing to film. That's gone a bit wrong. There we go. Right, let's just see if we can get a bit of solder on this. Just tin the tip there so that the heat will transfer. Takes a little bit of time to warm up. Starting to go. Slightly bigger solder than I might be better, but there we go. That's that. So let's let that cool down a bit. So we've got the end on. Look, there's a little blob of solder just there, and I don't like that, so I'm just going to remove that. That's better. Okay, then that goes in there. Let it cool down a little bit more first. Okay. There we go. Click, click. Then put the rubber seal on and the cable grip. There we go. And if you see, I don't know whether you can see in there. Come on, focus. There's a little pin in the middle there. And there the two go together. And I'm not going to push them together because These have got barbs on, and they can be sometimes a little bit difficult to get apart, and you need some needle nose pliers or the correct tool to get those apart, because that barb goes in that square there. Okay,